Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm Bob Clausen.
And I'm Ashley Ketz. A family pleading tonight asking if anyone knows anything after a mother is hit and killed in Garland County. It happened on Highway 270 near the town of Royal. KARK4's Stephanie Sharp spoke with the family who's now grieving. Stephanie.
That's right. The family devastated after a woman who wore many hats, a mother, a sister, daughter, and a friend, was hit by a car last week. Now, what's worse in this case, her own son was the one who found her. Now, the family and investigators are searching for the person who is responsible for her death.
Emotions run very high for this family as they remember Jennifer Harding Willett.
Cared about her family tremendously.
As her family gathers around each other, they say Wednesday night Jennifer left her home on Irvine Street to walk to the Shell gas station. It's about a 3/4 of a mile walk along Highway 270 in Royal. Her last words to her son, 18-year-old Chris.
Asked me if I wanted a Mountain Dew, and I told her yeah.
But she never made it to the Shell for that soda. For hours, her family did not hear from her. That's when they got worried.
I got some clothes on, and I decided to retrace her steps.
But her son found something he never thought he'd see.
I saw her flip-flops first. Then I saw my wallet that she had borrowed because she was going to use it. And then I saw her.
The family says someone hit Jennifer with their car and kept going. Now they want answers.
If it was your mother, if it was your sister, you would have wanted somebody to stop, or at least maybe have the courage to come up forward and say, I was scared. I didn't know what to do.
As the family remembers her last steps, they want the person who hit her to come forward to get justice for Jen.
Please come forward and let our family at least grieve and have some closure.
Now, of course, if you know anything about this case, you're asked to call law enforcement. They will be holding a candlelight vigil Wednesday night at 8 o'clock to walk the last steps Jennifer did. The family is also asking for donations to pay for her funeral. They set up an account at Regions Bank. We put all of that information on our website, arkansasmatters.com.
Stephanie, thanks. And some breaking news tonight as prosecutors in Pope County say they have found enough evidence now to charge a former youth pastor with sexual assault of a minor. Rusty Russell is accused of having a relationship with a girl at his church. This was a girl we've learned is less than 16 years old. Divorce filings actually brought this alleged relationship to life, including some texts between the two in which Russell allegedly told the girl he loved her and imagined marrying her. Russell was fired from his church in December when the allegations were first reported.
Because safety matters, starting this week, Little Rock police trying out body cameras for the first time. And as KARK4's Shannon Miller explains, this is the first of what could be several runs for the technology.
Yeah, Bob, Little Rock Police Department says it's trying to out a half a dozen body cameras from one vendor starting this Thursday and for each of their patrol divisions. Now, officers will take turns using the devices for the next month during traffic stops, any arrests they make, or any time they have contact with the public. The cameras have on and off switches, and officers are instructed to use them just as they do with their patrol cameras.
It's one of those tools that will be able to prove a lot of things, whether the officer was correct or incorrect on their judgment, or the citizen was incorrect or correct on their assessment of the situation.
Officers will be able to turn the cameras off during personal telephone calls while eating or during bathroom breaks. LRPD says the department will try another version of body cameras and decide which ones are most functional for possible future full-time use. Ashley.
Thanks, Shannon. KARK4 is your local election headquarters. And just a heads up for you, former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee is making a big announcement tomorrow, May 5th at 10 a.m. in Hope, Arkansas. We will be carrying this live here on the air and on the web at arkansasmatters.com. Many speculating he could be announcing a run for the presidency.
The Garland County Tea Party encouraging members to show up in force against proposed Hot Springs anti-discrimination ordinance. Other groups are also coordinating to show up in support of the measure. On the City Board of Directors agenda for tomorrow night is when this is taking place. The ordinance includes sexual orientation and gender identity into the non-discrimination language and will require businesses who contract with the city to adhere to the same anti-discrimination policy.
A memorial service held in North Arkansas today for former Arkansas Congressman John Paul Hammerschmidt. Governor Asa Hutchinson ordering all flags to be flown at half-staff from sunrise to sunset today in honor of Hammerschmidt. Hammerschmidt was a U.S. Congressman for 26 years. He was the first Republican in Arkansas to be elected to the Congress since the Civil War. Tonight at 10, we'll take a look at today's memorial service.
The owner of a historic home in Little Rock attempting a last-ditch effort to save it. KRK4's Drew Petrimo joining us in the studio. More on this. And Drew, city officials set to vote tomorrow on whether to demolish the building or not.
Well, yeah, the Housing and Neighborhood Department says it's unsafe and that neighbors have been complaining, but some, including the owner, believe it's an important piece of Little Rock history that should be preserved.
This place was built in 1939.
You could say the house off 12th Street isn't exactly aging gracefully. The roof is collapsing in two places. Windows and doors are boarded up.
This is how it is to look.
But the owner, Narcissus Tyler, says she has a plan to breathe life into the crumbling building with a rich history. Known as the Brittam Rooming House, it started as a place black farmers who came to the city to find work could lay their heads.
Some worked at schools, some at hospitals, some porters.
Later, it housed some of the first black Arkansas travelers in the early days of desegregation of baseball, including Fergie Jenkins, who would go on to the Hall of Fame.
5 rooms downstairs, 5 rooms upstairs, bath downstairs and bath upstairs, 1 kitchen.
The house has been in Tyler's family for nearly 50 years, but it closed down more than 10 years ago, and Tyler hasn't been able to come up with money for upkeep.
Historical renovation and that type of project, it does take time.
Staffers declared the structure unsafe in March and recommended it be torn down.
They should make some type of museum, and put the people pictures and let everybody know the history.
City says they've received complaints from neighbors, but folks we spoke with hope the house will be saved.
It'll be neat for our younger generation.
Local preservationists say the Brittam House is symptomatic of problems facing aging Little Rock neighborhoods. But Tyler hopes memories here will live on.
And there aren't a lot of African American properties, historical properties that are still in existence.
Now, the Historic Preservation Alliance of Arkansas has added the Brittam House to a list of endangered historic places that could open up resources to finance renovations. The owner wants to turn it into off-campus housing for Philander Smith College, but says the project will cost $250,000. Ashley?
Thanks, Drew. It's a story that's gotten a lot of people riled up in Northwest Arkansas. An exotic fish caught in the waters of Lake Bentonville. We have the pictures to show you tonight. According to the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, this is a piranha. They say it was likely a pet, though, that was dumped into the lake. The man who caught it, Roger Headley, says he did kill it. Game and Fish officials say it would have probably likely died because of the water temperature in that lake.
Kind of surprising to pull that thing up in the boat.
You see that
up on
full
shore.
mouth of teeth?
Man, oh man. Well, we've got, I guess you could say, those quiet moments. So you think about this, when a voice inside you tells you to do one thing or perhaps not another, you got to listen to them because sometimes things may not go as well as you think.
Pay attention to those God nudges and those God, even the God winks. A smile from God. Cherish those as well.
Still to come, we take a look at how a man listening to those nudges saved 3 lives next.
And the great weekend weather spilled over into the work week in Little Rock. After starting at 60 degrees, made it up to 84 this afternoon. Our average height, 78 for this time of year. We're going to keep it in the 80s for a few more days, but we're going to increase the humidity and also eventually rain chances. We'll let you know when to expect them in just a couple minutes.
From the station that brings you local news that matters, this is KARK 4 News at 6 in high definition. With Bob Clausen, Ashley Katz, Chief Meteorologist Keith Monahan, and Aaron Peters with your Razorback Nation report.